Hey there, 8th grade scholars. Welcome. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining me for today's explainer because we have a truly fantastic topic lined up for you. We are going to talk about bringing stories to life through the incredible, literally captivating power of dramatic reading. So if you've ever wondered how to just grab a room's attention, make people actually feel the emotion of a story, and communicate with real impact, well, you are in the exact right place. Grab your notes, get comfortable, and let's jump right in.
But first things first, have you ever listened to someone read like a robot? I'll show you exactly what I mean. Imagine someone standing up and saying, "Hello, I am reading this book." You know the exact voice I'm talking about, right? It's flat, totally empty, zero emotion, just churning out the words on the page as if a machine is spitting out data. Honestly, it's so boring. You probably start daydreaming within about 30 seconds. Well, today, we're going to learn exactly how to avoid that trap. We are going to learn how to truly connect with an audience, making sure your voice is never ignored, but actually heard and felt.
Okay, so here's our quick roadmap for today. We're looking at 1. The power of performance, 2. Embodying your character, 3. The art of reflection, 4. Your performance homework, 5. Acting with biblical morality, and 6. The godly learner.
Section 1. The power of performance. Connecting with your audience.
So what does it mean to truly perform a text rather than just recite it? There is a massive difference between just reading words off a piece of paper and giving a performance that reaches out and grabs your audience. Let's ground this in a really foundational truth. 1 Peter 4:10 says, "Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others." And guys, this is absolutely crucial for us to remember as 8th graders. A dramatic reading isn't about showing off. It's actually a beautiful way to use your God-given communicative gifts to serve people. When you put effort into a performance, you're blessing your listeners with a really engaging and meaningful experience.
To put that into perspective, let's compare a standard reading directly with a dramatic reading. A standard reading basically just transfers facts. It moves the basic story from the page straight to the listener's brain. But a dramatic reading? That is about truly interpreting the story. It makes the text personal. It makes it memorable. Performance fundamentally changes how your audience perceives the message because it builds an actual emotional connection. You aren't just giving them the what, you're giving them the how and the why.
Section 2. Embodying your character. Bringing the words to life.
All right, this is where we get into the nuts and bolts, the mechanics of acting. Performing is about fully embodying the character. To do that, we rely on 3 main physical tools: voice projection, facial expression, and body language. And these 3 things, they have to work together perfectly. Think about it. If I start talking really fast and loud, and I'm using my hands a lot, you instantly sense urgency. But if I suddenly slow my pacing down and soften my tone, the mood completely changes. See? You can use your vocal tone and your pacing to demonstrate exactly what a character is going through.
The really tricky point here is understanding voice projection. It means speaking loudly enough for the audience to hear you clearly, but without shouting. This is a huge trap a lot of young performers fall into. Projecting your voice means using your breath in your diaphragm, that muscle right under your lungs, to push your sound all the way to the very back of the room. It absolutely does not mean just screaming the words. Shouting strains your voice, and it just sounds harsh. Projecting is purposeful, it's clear, and it's controlled.
Next up, your body and your face. Your body language and your facial expressions must match the scene's mood. If you are reading a scene where a character is absolutely terrified, you can't be slouching casually with a totally blank expression on your face. The audience needs visual cues. You physically have to show that fear, or that joy, or that sadness. Your movements have to closely align with the emotions to truly help the audience feel the impact of the scene.
Section 3. The art of reflection. Growing as a performer.
Now, this is a vital part of being a true scholar. Your learning doesn't just stop when the reading ends and the audience claps. Not at all. The post-performance phase is actually where some of your biggest growth happens. You need to learn how to constructively reflect on your own work. You can do this by yourself or by asking for peer feedback. You want to identify what worked well, definitely celebrate those victories. But also, you got to be honest and find areas for improvement. Doing this consistently is exactly how you develop lifelong confidence and real skill. It's like watching the game tape after a sports match to see what you can tweak for next time.
Let's look at an example. Say you just finished a reading, and you think back and realize, wow, when I took a deliberate 2-second pause right before delivering that big plot twist, the whole room went completely silent. Well, guess what? You just discovered the power of a pause. By noticing the impact of that simple silence, you've just leveled up your performance toolkit for the rest of your life.
Section 4. Your performance homework. Practice makes perfect.
Because as we all know, practice makes perfect. So now is actually a great time to hit pause on this explainer or just grab a quick screenshot so you're totally prepared for your assignment. Here are your 5 homework questions. 1. What is the purpose of a dramatic reading? 2. Name 2 ways to improve clarity when speaking lines. 3. Why is reflection important after a performance? 4. How can facial expressions affect audience understanding? And number 5, which is my absolute favorite, you are going to perform a short monologue for a peer and ask them for constructive feedback. Time to put all these skills into practice.
Section 5. Acting with Biblical Morality. Honoring God on Stage.
Exploring human emotions is a huge part of understanding literature, but it is so essential that we do this through a biblical lens. Honoring God doesn't stop just because you stepped onto a stage. You must portray truth, integrity, and kindness. Now, you might be thinking, but wait, what if I have to play a villain or a deeply flawed character? That's a really great question. Even when you are playing those flawed characters, your ultimate goal should always be a moral takeaway. The story as a whole should honor God and encourage righteousness. We explore the darkness in stories specifically to highlight the necessity of God's light.
Section 6. The Godly Learner. Wisdom over just knowledge. Let's shift our focus to our overarching spiritual takeaway today. This is really about prioritizing wisdom over just accumulating facts. Romans 8:6-7 says, "For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace." When we keep our minds spiritually focused, yes, even when we are learning academic skills like dramatic reading, it leads directly to life and peace. Your mind's focus literally dictates the fruit of your education.
And that brings us perfectly to the core philosophy of a godly learner. HeroesMart Academy intertwines biblical morality with education because, frankly, education without morality can hurt. Giving someone intelligence without a moral compass just makes them more capable of causing harm. Knowledge and intelligence should help you make wise, God-honoring choices rather than simply make you more capable. So I really encourage you, pursue academic excellence, become the absolute best public speaker and dramatic reader you can be. But do it while keeping your mind totally centered on God, truth, wisdom, and righteous choices.
I want to leave you with this one really powerful question. How will you use your voice to honor God today? You have been given an incredible gift to connect with and move an audience. So don't just read like a robot, speak with purpose, and shine His light out into the world. Thank you so much for joining me for this Explainer 8th graders. Have fun practicing those monologues, and I'll see you next time as we discover even more ways to use our gifts for His glory.